Anthony, when you were in high school, did you envision being on top of the podium at the state tournament? I have friends who were wrestlers, and they said that's what motivated them. They always saw themselves at the top of the podium. But did you?
I absolutely did. I had those dreams and the aspiration to be the best, and but I think that's one thing about wrestling that I learned, and a lot of athletes and wrestlers will learn is it's a humbling sport. So my first year of competition, I was nowhere near close to the top of the podium, but that gave me the motivation, to train for it because I wanted to not only prove myself right, to reach my goal, but I wanted to prove all those other people wrong who doubted me.
When it did happen, was it rewarding? Did you feel that sense of accomplishment or not?
I did. I remember winning my first state title. I felt this incredible sense of accomplishment, but then I wanted more. It's like, okay, I have another opportunity. I have another year. I want to get another one. And so I think that first goal, that first moment of success, it just lit that hunger, that fire inside me to go even further and take it even farther than I thought initially possible.
And why was Iowa such a goal for you? Was it because of the people who were there?
It was, because Iowa at the time, they were the number one wrestling program in the country. Everyone knew who Iowa was. They knew that the top wrestlers went there. And so for me, I wanted to be recognized as the top wrestler. I wanted to be recognized as the best. And I felt like going to Iowa would give me that recognition. So, and they were also my heroes. I remember watching the documentary, the season, and pretty much on a daily basis after practice, that was my routine. I'd jump on an Airdyne bike, I'd pop that video in, and I'd get an extra hour and a half workout of cardio just on the bike watching that film. So to be wrestling and just to be a part of the team that I saw as my heroes, that was one of my dreams.
And then how ironic is it that you wrestled somebody from Iowa
Hmm.
for the title?
Yeah, that was very interesting how it came full circle. And that was, in a lot of ways, very intimidating for me to wrestle my heroes. My final match, and I was scared. I remember just being so terrified going out there to compete against them. But I just remember looking at my mom and my siblings up in the crowd, and that fear just drained away from me. It just completely just disappeared because I remember thinking, I got this. There's no way he's gonna beat me tonight. I can do this.
So how weird is it to have a movie made about you? Is that like just surreal?
It definitely is very surreal. It still doesn't feel like a reality to me right now. And I'm just so blessed every day, something new and exciting. And I'm just so happy with the finished product, to see this film, to be proud of it, to say, yes, that's my story. That's my family's story. And to have people reaching out now, just saying how much it inspired them, how it touched them, how much they can relate. Because that was the ultimate goal from the very beginning. With telling my story, I've been through it. I lived through it. I reached my goal. But now it's about reaching others, inspiring them to overcome challenges in their life. So it's very special to have this opportunity, and it's a blessing.
When you look back at your life, are there things that stand out to you that you say, I should have known that at the time. I should have realized that. Or are there moments that you now can see in a different perspective?
Well, I'd say, I mentioned my mom being my hero, and she's my role model. But, now that I'm a dad of a son who's going to be 2 at the end of the month, I have a whole other perspective and respect for who she is as a parent and how she raised not only me, but my siblings. Because in a lot of ways, she was both my mom and my dad. She
Sure.
had to bear a heavy load on her own. And so I think going through as a kid, I saw things, I think I realized how much she loved us and how hard she worked for us. But now as a dad, I'm just absolutely blown away about how she raised us, and how she inspired us and what she overcame. So it definitely, watching this film, it's given me a new perspective and a whole other layer of respect and just love and admiration for my mom.
So did mom get to pick who played her?
She didn't get to pick who played her, but I actually got to break the news to her. I got to give her a phone call and let her know that Jennifer Lopez was going to be playing her in the film, and she didn't believe me. It took me like 10 minutes to to get her to understand it wasn't a joke. But who better to capture my
Come
mom,
on.
than Jennifer Lopez?
Right. Well, all right. When they were picking somebody to play you, what were the requirements that you wanted to have fulfilled?
Well, I'd say for me personally, I just wanted them to just be able to capture that love that I had for my family. To capture that, there was a vulnerability to me. And even though I didn't like to show it at times, I didn't like to speak it. It was there, And Jarrell was perfect in capturing that. When we initially met, we talked, we developed a great friendship. We met back in 2019, but it was him just taking the time to observe me, just in my real life environment, whether we were just going to restaurants, hanging out with my friends, moments of excitement, of pain. He was just watching and soaking it all in, and he captured those little details about me. So, I mean, everything I could have wished for and hoped for, he delivered above and beyond.
Did you have to teach him how to wrestle?
I'm honored to say I did have an opportunity to help teach Jarrell how to wrestle, and along with my former assistant wrestling coach, Brian Stith, we were helping to create the wrestling choreography. But Jarrell, he took the time to get those little techniques down. He dialed it in, and every single day he came back for more. And wrestling, it's very physical. Even when you're training and when you're drilling, at the end of the day, you're still getting slammed. Your body is feeling that impact and intensity of it. But he just was focused on getting everything right about my life, everything authentic, whether it's on the crutches, whether it's just me emotionally, or also just the wrestling itself.
Well, so then when you went in and did some of the stunt work, if you will, for the film, how was it to be back wrestling? Was it like, oh my God, I just love it, I want to be back in, or is it like, oh, this is too much?
That was a lot of fun. I was excited to get that call from Billy asking if I could be a part of the wrestling scenes, and to get back and to be able to train for something again. I think as any athlete, once you hit that point of retirement, it's like you just dream of having one more moment. Just reliving that just training for something again. So for me, that was a lot of fun, but it was different in a lot of ways because I wasn't just going out there and trying to dominate over an opponent. Now I was working with my opponents. We were creating this choreography, and we called it a violent dance. So to have a new perspective and create something beautiful and just at the same time intense and ferocious was just incredible for me. It was an amazing opportunity.
Have there been more wrestlers who are missing a limb that have been out there now because of you? Have you been an inspiration to people like that or not?
Well, I'd say I definitely have heard from some other wrestlers and their stories that are coming out who are missing limbs, and they have reached out to me, a few of them, through social media asking, whether it's them or their coaches asking if I have some tips, if I can talk to them, if I can walk them through certain techniques so that they can figure it out on their own. And that to me, it's an honor and it's my way of giving back. Because, when I first started, I couldn't exactly jump on the internet, and type in one-legged wrestlers, and then there's all this footage, there's all this technique that I could basically copy and emulate. And I had to create a whole new style of wrestling with the help of my coaches. So now to be able to do that and help with this next generation of wrestlers who are coming up who have similar challenges, it's very special, and I'm just very excited for that opportunity to be able to give back.
I have taught a number of athletes who are at the college level who think that they are going to go on to have these huge careers in professional sports.
Mm-hmm.
And I always try to tell them, no, this is your reward. You are getting to go to school at a reduced rate or free or whatever. And they don't seem to get that. How do I get that message across to them?
Huh. That's a tough question. I think especially with, the landscape changing with college sports now, with NILs, and I'd say just try to remind them of why they initially got into the sport, the love of it. And that for me, I think we're unique in wrestling is that there's not a big contract waiting for us at the end of the day. The professional league, it's just you go out there and compete for the love of it. And just remind athletes of that, at the college level. Yes, there's great opportunities out there. Yes, NIL and to go pro, but just be in the moment right now because tomorrow is not guaranteed. Some things can happen, but just enjoy this opportunity, what's right in front of you, and doing what you love.
Were the Olympics a possibility for you or not?
I was considering the Olympic route for a little bit, and I was actually training the freestyle wrestling, which is the Olympic style of wrestling. And what ended up happening, I was in a training session, I actually tore my Achilles tendon. And so because I didn't have my other leg to baby it and compensate as it was healing, it took a little bit longer than usual to heal back up completely. So during that time, I shifted my focus, and I received a stack of letters from some kids when I was competing, and it inspired me to one day become a motivational speaker because these kids motivated me. So
Sure.
during that injury time of healing, I focused 100% on my speaking career, and I fell in love with it, and that's all I wanted to do after that. I didn't want to compete anymore.
So can there be an Unstoppable 2?
I believe there could be, absolutely. My life now, I'm so blessed with this film, with this opportunity, but I'm always trying to be better than I was yesterday, whether that's as a husband, as a dad now. I'm a high school wrestling coach, just trying to give back. I just want to do better. I want to be better, and I want to give back to this next generation. So I absolutely believe that could be a part two here.
I'll be ready for it. I'll be ready for it. Hey, thank you so much and congratulations. This must
Thank
be the coolest thing, right?
It absolutely is. Thank you. And I really appreciate your questions.